Let's try that again!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Omniverse of Nick, and part 9 to What If Cliffjumper Survived. This will be a short one, but with a very big twist. But before we get into that, disclaimer, because this is the shortest video I've done in a while, be sure, as always, to smash that like button and subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, so that way you can help me grow up this channel, get more awesome stories pumping out, maybe even see your own stories come to life on the channel, and just generally help out the channel. With all that out of the way, let's get into this episode that is short, but with a deadly twist. Now, we begin off where we left off with who will go with Wheeljack on the whole mission, Soundwave, the Ion Blaster, that whole thing, since Ratchet's dead. Well, Cliffjumper. I mean, it should have been obvious from the preview, but hey, gotta make a little bit of suspense, don't we? Anyways, Cliff is going with the likes of Wheeljack on the mission to get the Ion Blaster, and soon enough, Laserbeak and Soundwave are on their tail, and that whole chase scene, besides Cliff being very on board with targeting Laserbeak, happens the same way as it did. But this time, with Cliff around, they go through with the initial plan of blowing Laserbeak up like big, instead of Ratchet's plan. So, when Soundwave gets Laserbeak back, with no Autobot fight, goes back to the ship, and Knockout is about to study him, the bomb explodes. And at that moment, almost that entire point of the ship, a good range of it, is caught in flame and wreckage, and Soundwave is blown to Kingdom Come. Soundwave has been terminated. Megatron is furious at this, and rightfully so. He just lost his surveillance chief in the most just out there way, and it's not even, they've only taken out one Autobot, and that was a while back, and everything just seems to be going wrong. They might have one less Autobot to worry about, but that was just the medic, and it doesn't seem to be slowing the Autobots down. This is just literally putting it in full circle for Megatron, that the Autobots are much more of a threat, especially now that their medic has died. It's literally fueled them. And now Megatron knows, now more than ever before, he's got to put his forces beyond work to get the relics and come out on top. We then get Hardshell's debut, and his fight with Bulkhead pretty much goes as you would expect, with Wheeljack out for blood against the Insecticon leader. And Megatron is even more furious and literally actually attacks Hardshell to prove his point that he wants one of their sparks, and he means it. But then he looks over after he rages on Hardshell, and his whole mood changes. What he sees is actually corrected his mind enough from what just happened with Soundwave to put him on a whole new mood, but still be stern with Hardshell. The whole fight with Hardshell and Wheeljack goes exactly the same, except no Miko. So, Wheeljack is literally left to fight Hardshell alone, and is almost at the mercy of the Insecticon leader, and he's just about to finish off Wheeljack before he is knocked to the ground, and very much so injured at this attack from Cliff and RC. And Wheeljack now gets up, and now Hardshell is completely outmanned and outnumbered. He doesn't know why they came here to help. He was wanting to do this alone, even if he died for it. But RC just prepares herself with Cliff and says, they lost Ratchet, Tailgate, and so many others. They're not losing another, especially after almost losing Bulkhead. Cliff touches upon this, saying that they've lost enough. They work together, and that's just how it is. He says this with the whole saving Prime and his memory thing and Ratchet. they just testify upon this further. But Hardshell just smirks, or what would look like a smirk on an Insecticon, before a blast rings out from a certain relic, the Ion Blaster. The blaster from whoever shot it goes right at RC and knocks her to the ground, and then at Cliff, who he is able to dodge the first blast, but then is hit by the second. But he is up more than RC enough to see who shot the blast. It's Soundwave. But what? How is that remotely possible? How is it that Soundwave was able to survive that? And is that what Megatron was so up about? And this is not the Soundwave that left that wreckage. Soundwave actually speaks and says, "You should have made sure that I was terminated." But how is he alive? How was he able to survive that explosion? What happened in that brief interlude between going with Hardshell and everything to combat Wheeljack? What could have happened in that time? And how will they defeat the seemingly immortal Soundwave?
Why am I asking you all these questions?
Find out in the next episode on the Omniverse of Nick. You guys didn't think this was the end of the video, did you? Well, the Omniverse of Nick has a new feature. A sneak peek at what's next to arrive.